Hello, everybody. This is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and today is the 31st, the last day of December 2018. Tomorrow we start a new year. So, anyway, I figure this being the last day of the year, I figure we talk about. Lord knows I've done my share of sexy vampire movies and stuff like that. So, why don't we change it up just a little bit and kind of like do something for the new year, and instead of a sexy vampire movie, we're going to talk about a sexy witch movie. Because why not? Nothing better to talk about sexy horror movies. And the movie we're going to talk about today is called Virgin Witch. And this movie came out in 1972. It's a British horror film. And it stars Anne Michelle, who's in The House of Whipcourt, and Vicky Michelle from BBC's Allo Allo. Yes, I know. I'm reading the back here, so. But anyway, though, I thought this was kind of an interesting movie. See, okay, let's go back to the late '60s into the '70s, and what ended up happening was that there was this kind of fad or whatever you want to call it that was going on at the time because, especially after the release of movies like Rosemary's Baby and then, excuse me, sorry, Rosemary's Baby and then The Exorcist and then they started basically putting out a bunch of these horror movies, and they were coming out from all over the world. You had movies coming from Spain and Italy and Germany and all this other kind of stuff, and this became kind of like its own subgenre of occult films. And you had like all these movies dealing with witchcraft and deviltry and everything else, and so that's where this movie comes in. And at first glance, here's the thing. It definitely sets itself up to be an exploitation movie, and it's definitely a very sexy movie, a very erotic film. There are scenes where, basically it starts off. You got these two sisters, and they're strolling along. They're in London, and one of them sees an advertisement to basically do modeling and stuff like that. And so she decides she wants to go for this and everything else. And her sister is kind of more like the kind of I guess you could say maybe like prudish type, and she's like, no, I don't really want any part of it. But this one sister, she's kind of more like the more daring one, the more kind of like taking chances type. And so she goes and she meets with this woman who runs a modeling agency, and she tells her like, okay, we're gonna do some tests with you and everything else. We're gonna send you out to this, we're gonna send you out to this estate, and you're gonna go ahead and do a photo shoot and all this other kind of stuff. And we got this good photographer and everything else. And so she's happy about it. And so she goes and tells her, I need you to come with me and all this other kind of stuff. And and it turns out the sister, she's got like this really manipulative boyfriend who's like, constantly like, always chasing after her all the time and always like checking in on her and stuff like that. And he's not particularly keen on the fact she's going with her sister to do this modeling job and stuff like that. But they go anyway, and so they get down to this house, and there's this man there, and he's kind of presented as like the owner of the house and everything else. And so she goes off with this photographer, and they're doing these sexy photo shoots and stuff like that. And meanwhile, the sister, the kind of like more pure sister, she's wandering around, and she knows that things are kind of like a little off with this place and everything else. And the one sister who's a little more daring, she discovers that basically kind of like what this place is basically like a coven of witches, and they're into black masses and witchcraft and all this other kind of stuff. It turns out that the lady who runs the modeling agency, she's pretty much the one in charge of it. And there's kind of like, it's kind of one of those deals. There's like a prophecy of a woman who will be a witch with just unlimited powers and stuff like that. And then the one sister who's daring, she's all like, oh, I believe it's me, and I believe I could be the one to lead and all this other kind of stuff. And she's like, I'm totally in. I want to become a witch and all this other kind. I want to join this coven and everything else. And so, he decides, okay, so, so they have this, you know, kind of, kind of an initiation kind of a thing where, it involves her having sex with this guy in a ritualistic manner and stuff like that. And then, basically, she's in this coven of witches. But then it's kind of like, you have the woman who's, the woman who's the leader against this woman, and they're kind of like, fighting back and forth over who's going to be the witch with all the power and stuff like that. And then, but then again, too, is like you got the innocent sister. Could she be the one who's, you know, is she the one who's actually, the one who's prophesized to lead this coven of witches and everything else? And so they start kind of looking in on her, like, could she be, but then at the same time, you got, her boyfriend is, like, going there wanting to take her out of there. And, and he pretty much kind of finds out what's going on, that they're into witchcraft and all this other kind of stuff. So he wants to go and get her out of there and stuff. So yeah, so this is a pretty good movie. It's like I said, it's a sexy little flick, and um, you know, like I said, there's, I mean, obviously there, but so yeah, it's a pretty good little movie. I do like a good movie about witchcraft and the occult and stuff. I particularly like it when it's done when they try to really give you the facts about it, and it's not just trying to make stuff up. I mean, it's kind of like the difference. Like, look at the Wicker Man. The original movie was really like they really like researched the pagan religion and really tried to do it, in a very realistic manner, in a very truthful manner, and stuff like that, as opposed to the remake where the screenwriter just decided, oh well, I'll just make up something, and I'll just make up some weird religion and stuff that nobody's ever heard of, and just make it weird and stuff. And so, I mean, so I like a good witchcraft movie when they really do try to, the thing that I would really like to see though in more witchcraft movies. I mean, I mean, like, I have The Craft on DVD, and that's, I got to be honest, that's a movie I'm not really. I know Scream Factory's got a Blu-ray coming out on that, but that's not really a movie I'm itching to, spend $30 on to buy on Blu-ray, because to me that's kind of more of like a teenage kind of kids movie. I'm sorry, just to me that's. I mean, no offense intended. I mean, I know people out there love the movie The Craft. I'm not trying to put you down. Just to me, it's like, when you watch movies like this, The Craft is kind of, it's fluff. I mean, there's not really much to it. And I would kind of like to see movies about Wiccans and witchcraft and stuff where it's done in a more serious vein, where it's more trying to be realistic, where it's trying to explain like what being a Wiccan is, what being a witch is, and things like that. I would much rather that and stuff. I mean, this here, it's a good movie, but it is pure exploitation. So, yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to have movies with a more truthful vein to them and stuff, instead of just, people making stuff up. But yeah, I mean, if you're in the, if you like a good occult movie, and this one's harmless. I mean, it's a fun watch. It's, I mean, if you like your occult movies with skin in them and everything else. I will say though, there are moments this movie does kind of lag a little bit. It's, but even at 88 minutes, yeah, it has a couple of moments where it does kind of feel like it's a little too drawn out, but yeah, it's a good movie. And but like I said, it would be kind of interesting, instead of, this, to try to do like a movie about witchcraft, present it as it really is, and what, and try to make it interesting and stuff like that. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, I think I'll pretty much wrap it up with that. But Virgin Witch, it's a good movie, and like I said, it's an erotic little film. It's interesting. Like I said though, just maybe not the most factual, truthful movie about witches or Wiccans or anything like that, but still, it's pretty good. So I say it's definitely worth a watch. And this, of course, it comes from our good friends at Redemption, giving us the good sleazy horror movie. So you're gonna get what you want out of it. So, but anyway, though, yeah, that's gonna pretty much wrap it up. But Virgin Witch, I say give it a watch. It's pretty good. So anyway, that's gonna finish up this video. Like I keep saying, this is gonna finish this video. Gonna finish this video. Okay. So anyway, this is Sinema77, horror and cult film lover, and I hope you love a good erotic witchcraft movie as much as I do. Um, if you took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. I honestly do. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.